What's good, everybody? Welcome to the Pull Up Show. My name is BJ Matthews, aka B. Just before we get started, follow us on the YouTube page, the Pull Up Basketball Podcast. Like, share, subscribe. All of our YouTube videos. Hit that like button as y'all come in here. Hit that Cash App as well. $ BJ Matthews. If you guys enjoy this content that we drop, make sure you guys support the Pull Up Basketball Podcast by sending your love to the Cash App. Make sure we do all the stuff for you guys. And also, we got the NBA season getting ready to start, so that means it's going to be more and more content, more and more NBA basketball talk. So let's get it popping. All right, man. So we got a great subject to y'all for this morning. You know what I'm saying? It's surrounding something where I think, hasn't really getting a lot of publicity, but it's slowly but surely being talked about, especially in the YouTube, community and things of that nature. And I'm actually very, very intrigued about this discussion because the player that, the person that, is part of this situation is somebody who's very looked up to as a kid. A lot of people who are players at this time looked up to as a kid, as a young hooper in high school, things of that nature. And that player is Derrick Rose, who is now part of the Memphis Grizzlies with Ja Morant, who is the young star for the Memphis Grizzlies. Now, this is what I'm going to say. It's amazing how things work and how things work in the universe, how God works, things of that nature. Because some stuff happens that you never expected, right? For those who do not know, who did not get a chance to, witness Derrick Rose from about 2009 to about 2013, Derrick Rose was at a point where he was probably going to be the face of the league, right behind LeBron James. LeBron James right now is still going at age 38, going on 39 years old in his 21st season. This man right here with the ball in his hands, Derrick Rose, was on pace to possibly be the face of the league, passing LeBron James in his prime. If you guys go get a chance to watch some of his, old clips with the Chicago Bulls against the Miami Heat, D Rose was on that level, man. Of course, most athletic point guard, they say, to ever play the game, next to Russell Westbrook. And then here comes Ja Morant, who's right there as well. This guy was a speed demon. He had over a 40-inch vertical, super fast, super strong, just naturally gifted, a very solid defensive player. He was just all around, becoming a mind of his own. And this is when he had guys like, Russell Westbrook. You had guys like LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, towards the end of his career, of course. You still had, Dwayne Wade, you had Carmelo Anthony, you had, star players at that time with Derrick Rose right there. And he was leading the Chicago Bulls, a team that was not filled with a bunch of stars. You had a bunch of good players as far as Joakim Noah, Luol Deng, CJ Watson, Rodney Brewer, Kirk Heinrich, Ben Gordon when, D Rose first came into the league. You didn't really have a bunch of stars on that Chicago Bulls team. Chicago really hasn't really been doing anything since Michael Jordan left and departed from the team. So Derrick Rose, his first 3-4 seasons of his career before his nasty leg injury that you guys knew, him tearing his meniscus and tearing his ACL, like kind of, slowed him down, right? Super athletic, super high and excited player. But because of the injuries, it has slowed him down, and now he's become more of a rotational player. But before that, Derrick Rose was looked at to be possibly the biggest thing in the NBA. All right. And as y'all come in here, smash that like button, hit the share, the subscribe, hit the Cash App, things of that nature. Now, this subject right here is going to be talked about as mentors are still needed in the NBA, starring Derrick Rose and Ja Morant. Now, Ja Morant and Derrick Rose are two players who are very similar. Everything I named about Derrick Rose is the same thing with Ja Morant. Y'all see it. The explosion, the high vertical, the blazing speed, the excitement, the face of the league, arguably, if he ever gets his head on straight. He has all the qualities that Derrick Rose has on the court. Now, off the court, D Rose came from, of course, the impoverished neighborhood of Inglewood and Southside Chicago. It was very well documented. He did not choose to promote it. He promoted Chicago, but he was not going around talking about I grew up in, the hood and all that stuff. I mean, it was just already there. You can just tell his demeanor. You could just tell how he, played, and people would tell the story for him. Ja, over the last, what, 6 months, you ain't really heard nothing from him this summer, which I like. But before that, he was portraying himself more as that lifestyle of, you know, guy. You know what I'm saying? In this era, you got Instagram, social media, everything's always on, line, flashing guns and things of that nature. Ja Morant, that's what he was being portrayed as, or portraying himself as, because a lot of people thought of it as being really phony. But D Rose, there was nothing phony about what he had. So you fast forward, these two are now teammates. Now, Ja Morant and Derrick Rose, when I look at these two, it's almost like it's a mirror image, um, as far as on the court. Um, D Rose simply was just taken out through injuries. His game was so predicated on athleticism and speed that it was so predicated on athleticism and speed that once he got those injuries, those lower leg injuries, his vertical went down, his speed went down. Still has this, quickness, but it was not what it used to be. Right, so that's why he's choosing to, take a vet minimum and things of that nature. Derrick Rose should be if he never got hurt, he'd be in the same position as Paul George, Kawhi, Westbrook, those type of players who are still all-star caliber players. James Harden as well. But the fact that he's been injured, his game has deteriorated. Not to say he's still not a valuable piece, but his game has definitely digressed because of the injuries. D Rose and Ja Morant are now teammates. D Rose, of course, was brought because he has to be somewhat of the person who can, kind of, really help Ja Morant get back on the right track. As y'all know, Ja Morant has been going through a lot of things off the court. With him being banned for now, start of the season going to be 25 games, which is going to definitely be and it's going to be definitely interesting. Now that I think Derrick Rose is going to be the starting point guard of the team. I think he's going to be D Rose because Tyus Jones is gone. So I think D Rose is going to be the starting point guard of the Grizzlies while Ja Morant's out. So that's going to be very interesting to watch him play with Marcus Smart, Jaren Jackson, Desmond Bane, things of that nature. Steven Adams. So I'm interested to see how that works. But because Ja Morant's going to be out, it's going to put him in a position where basketball is not going to be, it's going to take him away from him. He's still going to have access with the team, still going to be able to travel. But as far as playing, he's not going to be able to start for the first 25 games. Right? All the stuff he's been doing, in the off season and the in season last year has caught up to him. So now he's having to face the consequences. And I said before that Ja Morant needs to be suspended for the majority of the season this year. As I took a time to kind of, take some time off and not really think too much about it or think more about it, I said, you know what? I think that would be a little bit too much because it could also hurt him, his mental. But I wanted him to actually understand the detriment he was doing to himself, but not just himself, but also the community. When I say the community, the basketball community, and also the Black community, you being an American basketball player and the stereotypes that are put out about us as it is, Ja Morant was feeding into that. It wasn't just he wasn't feeding into it, he was also promoting it. The gunplay, you know what I'm saying, the outside activity, promoting it on camera. He was putting a niche out there that I don't feel like it was, healthy for us to, have all young Black men have this niche that we gotta be in the streets, we gang banging, things of that nature. I didn't like what he was promoting, so I think he had to be punished based off of that. But I'm not the commissioner. They gave him 25 games. So D Rose, being the person he is and going through what he has went through in the past, looks at Ja Morant and he actually says, you know what? I'm pretty much relatable to what this kid has been through as far as not just off the court, on the court, but off the court. And I think I can help him. So D Rose took the initiative. You know, he had media day as well on Monday. He took the initiative to call his reach out to Ja Morant's people, his father and Ja himself. It says Rose took the initiative to reach out to his new teammate. He first contacted the former Memphis Grizzlies guard Tony Allen to get Morant's or his dad's phone number, with the goal of him chopping up and having a casual conversation with them. Y'all know Tony Allen used to play for the Grizzlies, and I think he's also from Chicago. So you know, that's a connection right there. Um, there needs to be a serious conversation had about what the expectations are going to be with this season. Rose said he was going to get into the details of their conversation, but he did say he was honest with Morant. He's not going to get into the details, but he did say he was honest with Morant. So this is what Derrick had to say. He said, "Look, I'm not here to babysit." Rose said during media day, "I'm not here to babysit, micromanage, or anything. I'm not here to plant, or I'm here not here to be a plant in the locker room or any of that. I'm here to help you guys win. I'm not here to steal minutes. I'm not here to steal nobody's job. I'm here to win. And once again, I'm here to show that I still have a lot left in the tank. Let's continue." It says, "I just told him I'm not here to babysit you. I'm not here to follow you around. I'm not here to cheerlead. I'm here to push you," Rose said. "I'm very fortunate to be in a situation where a lot of people look at his game and they kind of compare our games together, but he's on a whole nother level. It's my job to push him and let him know in times when he's being reckless to calm down." And when he said reckless, this is what he meant. He said, "This count, however, doesn't mean Rose will take responsibility for everything Morant does." Before moving on to the next question, Rose clarified what he meant by reckless. He said, "Me saying reckless, I'm talking about the court," he said. All right, let's stop right there. As y'all come in here, hit the like button, hit the share, hit the subscribe. Now, a few things I want to depict here from what D Rose just said. First of all, let me put something out there. Derrick Rose was my favorite player growing up. Derrick Rose was my favorite player when he was with the Chicago Bulls. Well, Kobe was my favorite player. D Rose was my second favorite player. And then here came Kawhi, things of that nature. So D Rose, if you guys know who D Rose is and he's a fan of his, the guy is usually painfully shy. You could tell in the press conference, you know what I'm saying, he does his interviews, things of that nature. If you know, I mean, just basically it's all in the story. Like he was a painfully shy person. He did not like interviews. How he speaks. He spoke, you know what I'm saying, like he didn't really want to be, you know, interviewed. How he grew up had a lot to do with that, of course. You know, I think put him in that shell where he probably seen a lot, and it kind of, you know, put him in a position where he didn't really want to say a lot. As the years have went on, D Rose to me has been became more comfortable in his skin. He has become more expressive. He's became more of a person who is, you know, is better for him to express himself and his true emotions to, you know, not just people that he's close to, but people that he, you know, he can have a conversation outside of that. So now that you got that going, that's why he said what he said to Ja Morant. I could pretty much say that when D Rose said to Ja Morant, like, said, "Look, man, you know what it is. You know I'm here. Let's not act like, you know, we're surprised at what's going on. Like, all I need you to do is do what you gotta do." And I'm pretty sure you use some explicits there, because D Rose is from Chicago. He's from the streets of, you know, Inglewood. So I'm pretty sure there's a lot of explicits there. He said he wasn't gonna go into the conversation, but he talked to him like, you know, his little brother. And when you talk to your little brother who you want the best for, there's going to be some things said that, you know, you're going to have to, there are going to be some things said that are, you know, very, very serious and straight to the point. But that's a person that cares, because Rose, like I said, has already been through what Ja Morant has been through. And now that he's dealing with having to get a vet minimum contract, and Ja Morant plays the same way that he plays, if he understands easily that your spot can be, you know what I'm saying, you know, taken away, or you can, you know what I'm saying, have your spot demoted. Like I told y'all, D Rose was about to be the face of the NBA if it wasn't for them damn injuries. I'm telling y'all, anybody that you watch D Rose from 2008 to about 2012, he was on pace to being the MVP. He was on pace to being the face of the league. He had Chicago as the #1 seed. He had an MVP season. He was the best. He was the best point guard in the league, right? Everybody loved watching D Rose play. He everybody loved watching him. So he looks at it like, bro, you play just like me, and the way that you're playing can actually take the years off your career. That's why you notice I ain't really been talking too much about the off court. I'm talking about the on the court right now. Rose said he's not. He said you can't be too reckless. That's only a person like Derrick Rose that can tell Ja Morant because he has the same game as Ja Morant. A lot of this stuff comes down to, experience is the best teacher. The fact that D Rose said, what he says a lot of maturity. And the job of the OGs and the guys who came before us are to teach the young group not to have to go through the same BS. And a lot of times it can only be taught from people who actually went through it. See, it's one thing if Ja Morant heard it from somebody who never went through the same, on the court and off the court issues. But now that you got a guy like D Rose who not only went through it but knows more than you, and somebody that Ja Morant truly respects, who he said before, like, D Rose is one of the guys that has, made it acceptable for, point guards like me to be for owners to take a risk on. It's almost as this appreciation and a admiration he has for him. They're both around the same size. Of course, D Rose is a little bit more bulkier. They both have the same athleticism and speed, excitement, face, like all that. It's like I'm telling you, it's like the same. It's like a mirror image I'm watching from 2008 to 2012 with Ja Morant. The buzz I heard about Ja Morant is the same buzz I heard about D Rose. Even before when they lost to the Warriors, in his third season, that's when Ja Morant was starting to come out of the gate. And for all intents and purposes, D Rose only had really 3-4 great years. Three great years. But people look at that and say like that is something where they marvel over because those 3 years were filled with excitement, basketball like no other. And like I think people have a certain infatuation with players who, of course, who are exciting, like who can jump out the gym, who are fast, and all that stuff. But D Rose only had 3 really great years if you think about it. The rest of that was very solid. He still averaged, around 15, 20 points with teams like Minnesota and, New York. But bro, it was nowhere near what he was in Chicago as far as the impact and, him being the leader of that team. So it's only a certain group of people that can really help you out and teach you certain things of the game of basketball. On and off the court. So I'm very excited to see what Ja Morant learns from Derrick Rose. I do think Derrick Rose will have a huge impact, no matter what Derrick Rose says on the screen. He understands, like I said, he talked to Ja Morant, like, what I'm saying, how you talk to your homeboy, talk to your little brother. I'm telling you, he looks at Ja Morant, it's like, yo, I had the same opportunities as him, and he actually thinks that, he's on a whole nother level. So he's going to do everything in his power to make sure that Ja Morant's on the straight edge. But if Ja Morant doesn't do what he needs to do, then it ain't gonna matter. But I do think that this is the move that's going to help steer his career, because he's already gonna miss time. What I'm saying, from the team. He's lost a lot of money last year not making that All NBA team. So money, a way to get to a man's heart is usually their pockets. So you losing millions of dollars in bonus money because of your stupidity, and your ignorance, then you wisen up really quick. And a lot of it also has to do with his age and his youth. Now I'm not using that as a primary excuse, but more times than not, if you look through our lives, most time we did things that we, were just ignorant. We just look like, damn, why did we do that? It was when we were young. So now that, D Rose was he 34 now? Ja is what, 23, 24? It's a difference now, in growth. So I like this move that the Memphis Grizzlies did. I think they'll be able to shake Ja Morant, and I think Ja Morant will take heed to it, because usually when you're that successful and you have that much buzz going around the city, you feel like you're the man, you're untouchable. Those people like that, if not in just sports but just in life in general, Um, guys like that only listen to people who they feel have either more or has done exactly the same or went through the same path as they did. It's just how it is. We just listen to people who have experience that we can relate to. So I wish the best for the brother, man. I really hopefully, he gets his stuff together. I want to see the Memphis Grizzlies, be successful this year. I hope that they get to the, peak of their powers. I'm, excited to see what happens. But that concludes this show, man. Y'all continue to follow the Plug Basketball Podcast. Plug the C, Plug the Chair, Plug Live. Peace out of here like swimwear.